that is where you guys crashed Skyreach Castle in the spine of the world. Now, you guys are a little bit south.
They had it coming.
Yeah, a couple thousand miles away. You guys are in Waterdeep, and I'll sync up. I'll sync up Waterdeep. Waterdeep's right here. All right, you guys were summoned. After the crash. The only one that survived, and unfortunately, was Tiberius. All of the other adventurers, Kadojo, Silverclaw, Zelos, and whatever your mage's name was,
Thanks a lot.
Alora. I'm just kidding. Who was it? Tara. Okay, Tara. They all perished in Skyreach. You've had so many characters.
What the hell? I killed one. I killed one. What the hell? You and Worm, I swear to God.
So you guys basically were saved by the Purple Griffin Knights of Waterdeep and the Griffin Riders, and this new group of adventurers that were put together by the all of the masked nobles of Waterdeep, these leaders. And
you're welcome.
Yes. So, the masked lords of Waterdeep, they all thank you. You all got back onto the Griffins. But see, Skyreach Castle, that could possibly be, in the future, a great place to go back to, because, remember, this was a place, Tiberius, that there were massive amounts of treasure that were hoarded and stored on this ship. Well, on this flying castle. And this was all tribute that was going to be paid to Tiamat. And as the castle crashed, it embedded itself into the spine of the worlds. And, once you came through, you told everybody about this, but the damage to the ship was so great that, you just could not get to the hoards of treasure. Now, there was also a dragon. There was also an adult white dragon on this ship. You knew that there was a vampire lord on this castle. There were giants. So there was a lot of things happening. But the group stealthily crashed the castle. They did not get into one single fight on their whole time on the castle. It actually worked out rather nicely. So you guys have been summoned back to Waterdeep. You guys had some weird dreams about some meat pie incident in Waterdeep. Everybody had that same weird dream. I don't know. That was something from last week. So you guys are being escorted. Tiberius.
That was good. That was fun.
Everybody, yeah, it was actually pretty fun. I wish we didn't. I wish I didn't cut out a couple hours worth of the actual investigating part and the mystery part of it. I hated to do that, but it would have been super late if I didn't do that. All right, so you guys get to Waterdeep. This is a new map of Waterdeep. All right, you guys are being escorted to the castle ward. Now, you are, as you're traveling throughout Waterdeep, I mean, the place is just, Waterdeep, there's 1 million plus people. So, I mean, there are people running around, there's smithies banging on anvils. I mean, the whole city, the Metropolis, is hopping. All right. Now, the appearance of these people. I mean, the town is Waterdeep is a very old city, and there's a lot of tradition in Waterdeep, and a lot of the Waterhavians is what they're called. They all they dress rather nicely, and there's a lot of clothing shops around, and this is like a out of character, like a Victorian type of city. Everything is very proper and whatnot. But every place in the city is not like this. You are currently in the Castle District, so you guys are on your way to the Lord's Keep. Right.
My parents. This is where I was grown up, somewhere around here, I'm sure.
Mm-hmm. Two familiar faces as you guys leave the platforms of the Griffins. Two familiar faces. Leosin the monk. You remember Leosin from the Horde of the Dragon Queen. Well, I know that. Well, anyways, he is the one that has basically stuck his neck out and got all of you together to go rescue Tiberius and the others that crashed Skyreach Castle. So Leosin is escorting you, and along with Leosin is Onthar Froom, and he is a paladin. And he talks. This is Tiberius. You remember Onthar? He was. You actually just started in the party when you had met Onthar, and he says that he's glad to see you, and he says, "Oh, there's lots to talk about, mate. Lots to talk about."
Well, Leosin too. I mean, I believe we saved Leosin. He was in some kind of a camp, held captive, and we saved him from being killed. So I understand why he would spend a lot of his effort trying to find out what happened to us.
Yeah, you guys have definitely proven yourselves. With not everything had gone perfect. Not everything had gone perfect. Not everything wasn't accomplished in Horde of the Dragon Queen. But if you have Onthar Froom and Leosin on your side, that means a lot. And especially if you are summoned by the masked lords of Waterdeep and the 5 major players throughout the entire land of the Forgotten Realms. Yeah, you guys are rock stars. Tiberius, you're a rock star. Everybody else, you guys are rock stars too, because you've been helping in other ways that did not involve the Horde of the Dragon Queen. But you
forgot my guitar.
You all have been helping, gather information on the cult of the dragon. And that's why all 4 of you have been summoned, meaning Widow, Vey, River, and Trump. Because you've all been working for Onthar and both Leosin. So you guys are basically their best. You're the creme de la creme of the organizations. So now you guys are being escorted, and you're also being escorted with another griffin that had arrived just around several minutes after you were catching up with Leosin and Onthar as they met you there at the platforms of the Ravens. And there's another individual there, and you are introduced to her as Dala Silmerhelv. Dala Silmerhelv. So, as everyone is, making their way, Leosin says that there's a couple of things that, there's one matter of importance that I think I should mention to you before we get to the council. And you guys are being escorted throughout the streets, of the castle district. And there was an event that happened several days ago. It seems that the cult of the dragon has kind of struck back at all of the organizations. And one of the masked lords of Waterdeep was murdered. He was assassinated. And his name was Arthagast Olbrinter. He was one of the masked lords of Waterdeep. Arthagast, Arthagast, Arthagast Olbrinter, and he was the husband of one of the high-ranking officials of the Harper's Group, and he is the husband of Remy Haventree, and Remy Haventree is one of the, like I said, she's one of the high-ranking members of the Harpers, and she is infuriated by this, as of course anyone would, and she is sworn to destroy the cult and the threat that it presents to the beautiful Sword Coast. And Leosin, a lot of the information, a lot of the support, a lot of the supplies that this organization of all 5 organizations that's come together has actually come from her and the Harpers. So she's actually played a pretty important role in, setting up this alliance that probably would have never happened before in the first place.
When he did all this?
Remy, R-E-M-I. Remy,
Remy.
Yeah, okay. Remy Haventree. She is a high-ranking Harper's associate. And, one thing that I'm going to say, there's going to be a lot of names in The Rise of Tiamat, and there's going to be a lot of mystery and a lot of, oh no. So it's going to be really fun, and I can't wait to do this stuff. So as you guys are coming through the town, there's sort of like a sudden shift of wind.
Excuse me.
Yes.
No, I mean, excuse me, because there's a sudden shift in wind.
Oh, you just killed the fucking mood.
It means he fucked it.
So all of a sudden, a sudden shift in the wind starts to bring a really weird sense of unease. And actually, the air pressure drops as well, so you can actually feel quite a temperature drop, and you start to feel faint tremors, but it seems like it's a storm approaching, but it's not. And then all of a sudden, you hear a horn sound over everything. And this is what the horn sounds like, and it continuously blows for, I'd say, probably 20 seconds. And after this has happened, everybody's kind of looking around at one another. And
do I recognize it?
No, you do not. No, you don't. No, you definitely do not. And the city around you is now like a very unnatural quiet. I mean, there's really no dogs barking, no birds squawking, even the street vendors. Everything has gone quiet. And then, after a couple moments, things start to, go back to normal.
Can we tell what direction it came from, or is it kind of like all over?
It was just all over the place, and you notice that Dala Silmerhelve, she seems to actually be at quite a... She seems like she's unrestful right now. She's kind of looking around, and she's got several other nobles with her in her entourage, and they're all whispering to one another and whatnot. And Leosin asks her, "Is everything all right, my lady?" And she says, "This disturbance, this has been sensed across the entire Sword Coast. This was the Drakhorn. The Drakhorn has sounded." And Onthar and Leosin, you guys can go ahead and give me everybody give me a history check.
Okay. Yeah, I was about to ask.
And and it has to be super high. The roll has to be super high. And the Drakhorn has sounded, and she seems to be at she seems very, very disturbed. And she turns to everyone and says, "Oh, the Drakthorn. I'm sorry. I should have been a little bit more clear with myself. I'm sorry if you don't know what the Drakhorn is." And Leosin and Onthar, they both know what the Drakhorn is, and Leosin says, "I don't think our friends do, though." So she turns to all of you, and she says that the Drakhorn is an ancient device. Whenever it is sounded, it alerts all the dragons across Faerun. And this means that great events are unfolding. And it's impossible to say what the sounding means, but the dragons hear it clearly. Any parts of the lands of Faerun, thousands and thousands of miles away, this can be heard clearly. And eventually, all dragons, good, neutral, and evil, will answer the summoning of the horn.
Who summons it? Who has the horn? Who blows this?
Well, that is some information that she really does not know. But, this is she had learned about the Drakhorn from, she goes into explaining that, I learned this was an old family benefactor, an ancient bronze dragon that protected my family. This ancient bronze dragon was named Nimmer, and this dragon taught me all about the Drakhorn. But that is probably why I'm being summoned here as well.
Well, with all of
the
my
council will
studies,
need to know.
I've never heard of such a thing.
About the Drakhorn. Well, that is because it is only used by the dragons for the most part.
Where is the Drakhorn located?
We do not know. We do not know.
We don't know where it is or who sounded it.
We do not know. That is probably one of the reasons why we are all being summoned here. We're going to have to find this Drakhorn. We're going to have to find the individual. Obviously, the Cult of the Dragon probably has it. The Cult of the Dragon
we could start following some dragons if we find one.
That is one way. All dragons will eventually answer the horn. But it is up to the council, it is up to the Mass Lords of Waterdeep to also try to ally with the dragons as well. They can be powerful allies.
So I want to ask Dahlia, what about Dragonborn? Does the horn affect them in any way?
No,
it
good
does
question,
not.
Tiberius.
It does not.
Okay. So I'm going to look around as we're moving towards this. The people who kind of, you said before, it got kind of quiet and nobody was speaking, and and now it's kind of back to normal, so where there's kids playing on the street and the blacksmiths are back to banging there.
Yeah.
Nobody really seems to know what's
and the
going
horn
on.
Sounds again, but it doesn't. It's not that loud. It's a very low, and Lady Silmarhelm, she explains that. You can barely hear the rumble, but but for a dragon, it is heard like it was sounded right next to them, and this is all throughout the thousands and thousands and thousands of miles of land of Faerun.
This can't be good. This can't be good in any shape or form. I think we're going to be having to fight dragons. I hate fighting dragons.
Well, sure, this would be a good time to
She
raid
does
the
not.
dragon's lair, if you were so inclined to do such a thing.
She does not. She says, there will be many dragons that will die, yes, and there will be many that gain a lot of power. So that is why it is with the utmost importance that we ally ourselves with the more powerful dragons of the realms, and she says, and that's why we have to ally with the chromatics. The chromatics are, the coppers, the bronzes. Those are usually your good dragons. Although they are not all good, the majority of them are. Yeah, thank you, Skunk. Appreciate it, man. Thanks for your support, buddy. So you guys are being, escorted in. You guys kind of stopped and were talking in like a little town square for several minutes as all this was going on. after the two horns, the dogs start barking again. The chickens start running around. The vendors start trying to pawn more stuff on you guys. This meat pie vendor comes up to you and asks if anybody would anyone like to buy meat pie today? They're on special.
Is it from that company?
What
Toenails Are Us or whatever that was?
What company, sir? We make them here. I have a traveling oven, sir. We bake them here.
Does that come from Belmonger's Meats, by chance?
Belmonger's Meats? I've never heard of it, my lord.
Well, then I'll try.
Would you like to try a meat pie? Very good, sir. And he says, 1 silver, please. And he hands over a meat pie, and you get it's in a nice box, and you get a nice cup of ale to go with it. All the proper utensils. They spare no expense here in Waterdeep.
I shall watch him eat it very carefully. Is it crunchy? Are there crunchy bits in it?
Oh, I chow down.
There's nothing wrong with it. There's no... And I know you're probably looking through each piece of meat for toenails and whatnot. You don't find anything in your meat
Or
pie.
a button.
Yeah, a button. Any kind of hair, anything like that. There's nothing. It's just a very good meat pie.
Oh,
From
that's boring.
From
I
a
prefer the
traveling
ones with-
meat pie vendor.
I
We have
prefer
the
the
Rise
ones
of
with a bit
Tiamat.
body to them.
Maybe later on down the line, maybe I'll introduce some more, horrible things. This is from Belmont's Meats. And, sir, I've never heard of Belmont's Meats. This is all the meat from what my father has tracked and cleaned himself.
It's very tasty. Thank you, sir.
The best meat
Recommend it.
pies in Waterdeep, sir. In fact, I think they're about the only meat pies in Waterdeep, now that I think about it. Pretty good, huh?
Wasn't that? I
I
had
find that
this.
totally unlikely, sir.
I had this really weird dream. It was really weird, but what is bits of human in the meat pies? Not bad. I mean, I'm not complaining or nothing, but there was a bit stringy in places.
Is that what they sell from where you're from, sir? What half Orc City are you from?
I'm not from an half Orc City. I'm from Waterdeep, born and bred.
Sir, then clearly you've seen either my father or myself or my brother running one of our meat pie carts around the town. Of course you have, sir.
Of course I have. Of course I have. What do you think I am? Some kind of ick from the stick?
Oh, absolutely not, sir. You seem like a fine gentleman. Would you like to buy a meat pie, sir?
Has it got any body in it?
I'm afraid not, sir. We do not do that.
No, in that case, no, I don't think I'll have one, because I like my meat pies with a bit of body.
God. All right, so you guys have been escorted throughout the castle district. Unbelievable. And you guys make it to the Lord's castle. All right. My son is mowing the grass right in front of the window. He keeps going by like 20 times. I don't know why. There's not that much grass on the side of the house. I think he's doing it to troll
He
me.
missed one grass that was sticking up, and he's going around getting this.
I think so.
I read this in a book. Apparently, he's eavesdropping on you. You must grab him by the ear and drag him in, and send him off on an adventure with some other uncouth little hobbit, and so that he goes and finds the Mount Doom and stuff. I read it in the
Could
book.
be.
I think he probably forgot to lower his lawnmower stage, so it keeps going back and forth, and it's not cutting the grass any because he forgot to lower it.
I think my story was better.
He's
Yeah,
working
but
by
that
the
was
hour.
that's for cutting hedges, not the grass.
So you guys are being basically taken throughout the Lord's Palace. Lord's Palace is beautiful. I mean, there are tapestries everywhere lining the wall, carpets everywhere that you're walking, beautiful marble tables, murals painted onto the walls, frescoes on the ceilings, beautiful stained glass in parts of this castle, and you guys are making a lot of these nobles are around talking. Some of them are holding masks up, and you make it to the main council meeting. And as this door comes open, the double door swings open for everyone. This loud burst of sound just comes out, and you can hear people, yelling. You can see people standing on chairs trying to talk to, So it definitely looks like a room full of important people. That is for sure. And Leosin and Onthar, they say a couple things to you, and Leosin says, "This is the council meeting. Make us proud. We will not be joining you. We have not been invited. But you all have been meted. You guys are the ones that are going to be having to take care of this. So I advise you that even though the factions are committed to stopping this cult of the dragon, even though they're all saying that they're committed, none of them have actually made any kind of substantial type of pledge yet. So there's too much mistrust between the factions, whether it's the Zentrum don't trust the Harpers, or the Order of the Gauntlet doesn't trust the Zentrum. There's too much mistrust here. It's up to you guys to bring them together. Now, I think that the leaders need someone to show them the right path, and you guys are going to be the heroes that are going to lead the entire Sword Coast to victory over this cult. I really believe that. If I did not believe that, then I would have not put all of you together. And, take this into consideration. The choices that you make from here on out may please one group, and it might anger another. But the overall goal is to unite all of the groups and bring them together as one. So it's going to be incredibly hard and difficult to make every single person happy. You're not going to be able to do that. So don't beat yourself up over that, he says. So, he and Onthar, they kind of bow to you and step away, and you guys enter the council meeting.
How many chaps are in here debating?
There are at least 100 individuals in here.
And they're from all different factions.
There are some that are masked. You could tell that they are the masked lords of Waterdeep. Some individuals, they are not masked. Some individuals, you can tell, belong to certain organizations because you can see that their cloaks, their tabards represent, have symbols representing the factions that they, that show the factions that they represent.
Right, just a quick one aside before we go in, chaps. Sorry, hang on a sec. Right, before we go in, what faction does you lot all represent? Because I am one of I'm part with the Lord's Alliance. Who are you lot with?
Yeah, you don't have to. I will say this: if you do not want to be part of an organization, you do not have to be.
Yeah, I'll stick with the Lord's Alliance.
I'm with the Harpers, of course. And you all do hear that, right? You are all now heroes.
Well, we was heroes before we came in the room. I'm not sure about that priest. Looks a little bit sort of green around the gills.
Look, for rescuing Tiberius, you are now heroes.
Well, thank you very much. River, what faction do you support?
I support the Emerald Enclave.
And Miss Widow?
Let's just say my alliance is over.